Hi, welcome to creating vision boards and embracing New Year's resolutions and rituals for life. So, this second part of the video, I want to talk about the preparation for making a vision board. So, I've been doing vision boards for decades and decades, and I've noticed that sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they work really powerfully, and it's fun to experiment with this and understand why sometimes it's more powerful and seems really fluid and sometimes it's not. So one of the reasons why vision boards work so well is because they're natural to us as humans. So being spiritual people that are living physical lives, one of the things that we can resonate with and relate to is that before we were born, we made a contract with our soul self and with God about what we wanted to do in this lifetime. So why we came here and what we came here to do and learn and grow. And so we actually created a vision board for ourselves. So there was actually, if you can imagine, using our imagination, so that our soul is actually creating a vision board before we even, were conceived. So our soul's out there and it's like, okay, this is like based on more like feelings, like where I'm gonna live is gonna feel like this. The family that I'm gonna be born to is gonna feel like this. What I'm gonna do as a career is gonna feel like this. And those are the lessons that we're supposed to be learning in this lifetime. So when we can relax and get into our heart and connect with our soul self, a vision board is a very natural way that we can express ourselves as humans and get in touch with what is really important to us, and moving again those blocks and limitations out and really moving forward in our lives powerfully, which is what we want. So it's very exciting. So one of the things that's really important to do before you begin the actual process, and I have some magazines here I'm going to touch and bring over and show you, is that you want to be in a very relaxed state. So I was just sharing with my partner that I had an experience where my energy was very, like a little irritated, like very tight, like I wanted to get stuff done. And I was going through the magazines and just nothing was looking appealing. Like nothing was working. None of the pictures were fitting. I was like, these magazines aren't working. I don't like these, none of the words. And then I took a break and I came back and I was in more of a relaxed state. And so I'm going to talk about some things that you can do to get in a relaxed state. And then I was sharing, I was like, oh my goodness, like I was like, am I in a dream? Is this real? Is this like, am I dreaming right now? Because it was the same pile of magazines, and it was like everything I was touching was relating to what I wanted to create in my life. It was like I would just turn the page and there the thing was, So one of the things I really want to do is, go snorkeling and go scuba diving in warm water. And that's not something that's easy to find, right, in a magazine. And I just opened the page and there was this woman, and so it's, scuba diving, and then just on and on and on like that. So it's important to be open to all that. Another thing that happened when I was in a relaxed state that I was also sharing with him is that I'm going to show you how to get in a relaxed state, and then you want to let the vision board take on a life of its own, really. You kind of want to take the back seat and just let whatever is going to happen. So just letting it move forward. And I had this image of these flowers that were, I was interested in, that it made me feel good and piqued my interest. And so there was a connection there. And then when it came time to put all my magazine cutouts on my board, I just couldn't find a place for it. Like I kept going, no, it doesn't want to be here. No, it doesn't want to be here. But gosh, it really is this pretty picture of these flowers, and I don't know what to do with it now. And then I was kind of looking at it like, where did I get this? And I flipped it over, and it was actually a picture of these two little girls that had this fishing overalls on. They were fishing somewhere like, in Alaska or the Pacific Northwest. And the way that I had trimmed the picture came out so that it was exactly, cut out perfectly to highlight them. And, you know, it doesn't really matter what it means. You know, it could be, you know, my friendship with my adult women friends, or it could be my inner child connecting, or whatever the connection is. The important piece is that when I'm relaxing and I'm letting these images come up, you know, I'll find out later. It'll be clearer to me then. And that's the fun part and kind of the discovery. So, you know, did I put it on my vision board? You know, you betcha I put it on, and just in a relaxed way. I didn't need to know what it meant, but it was important to me. So I hope that makes sense, and just really letting the vision board have a life of its own. So one of the things that I like to do if I'm feeling disconnected and not relaxed is the pranayama. So there's a bunch of videos on my website that you can look on how to do that. I explain it and I talk about it and I go through meditations. So that's at just my name. So you're going to go to www.rachelpetkus.com and you can go and look that up. So it's a very simple breathing exercise. It comes from a yogic Indian tradition. So I like to do that. Another thing I like to do is just simply sit and be quiet, you know, and just relaxing and just going through your body and seeing, you know, whatever's going on with your body, kind of an embodied practice. You can have a cup of tea, you can go for a walk, whatever it is that gets you in a relaxed, open state. And then that will help your visioning boarding go further and deeper and be more time effective. So what you want to do when you're in that relaxed state is you just kind of want to have this, you know, stack of magazines. So I have this stack of magazines, and then just whatever, you know, whatever you want. So I have a sunset I really like because there's a lot of gardening. And then I also have, you know, a bunch of National Geographics. Is always a really good one. So you're going to take your magazines and then just very casually, you're just going to go through, and if there's anything in the picture at all that's resonating with you, and I mean anything, like here's something I'm not really resonating with the word so much, but oh, it's like a, you know, it's a picture of nature. And so, yeah, so I kind of like that. So I'm just going to tear it out and I'm just going to put it on the side. You know, that's interesting to me. And like, oh, here's one, you know, paging through and looking at stuff, and it's like, oh, well, here's like kind of a fun image, you know, with the motorcycle, so that might be fun to like emphasize partnership. You know, I'm not like, you know, wow, this is the one, but oh, I have kind of an interest in that, you know, like that's pretty, you know, that's cute, I like that. So I just tear it out. I don't put a lot of thought into it. And then I go through and I'm just kind of paging through and having an open mind. So one of these ones was, you know, it's sometimes it'll come up where you're like, oh, I really like this picture, you know, this kitchen. And I'm like, well, my kitchen kind of already looks like that. So that's kind of why I like it. And so it's like, oh, good job, Rachel. Well, that's fun. You know, and then it's like, do you want to put it in if that's something that you already have? And it's like, okay, well, in this stage right now, yes, just tear it out. If it's something that you like, it doesn't matter if you already have it or not, because you'll find a place for it later. And so just going through and just really casually, you know, that not getting lost in our mind of what it all means. So here's a picture of some daisies. So that's really pretty, you know, I'm just gonna pull that out. And so you just wanna go through, you know, just pulling them out really easily like that. That could even be if you're, you know, wanting to break apart the actual vision boarding. That could be something that you could do, and then you can come back to the next step another time. You know, so you're just gonna have this like stack of these papers, and then the next step of what you want to do. So I have an example. So here's some pictures. You know, these are ones that I tore out a long time ago, and I thought they were really pretty. I was like, well, this is nice, you know. And then when I went back to cut the images out, I didn't really feel like cutting it out. It wasn't resonating with me then. So I just put those pages on the side. And then the ones that I did like, I cut out. So like this one, so this is the next step in the vision boarding. So still in a relaxed state. I do really like these daisies. I'm not really sure where they're gonna fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly cut them out and just have them around. So I want to just, what we're doing is we're kind of breaking it down. So we're chunking it down so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming to have all these pieces. So you want to just cut it out, and then you want to put your scraps on the side. So this next step, what you're going to have is you're just going to have a bunch of cutouts and just have them ready on the table. And then we're gonna have our other pieces that we need. So we're gonna have our glue stick, and we're gonna have our board, and we're gonna have our, you know, our positional, like a clean surface to work on. And so that's gonna be the next step. And thank you all for watching this video.